I thank you for your attention on this. The Israeli parliament established Holocaust Remembrance Day to be observed on the 27th day of Nisan of the Hebrew calendar. Now, the Hebrew calendar is a lunar calendar, so the date changes each year in the United States, but it marks the anniversary of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. This year, Holocaust Remembrance Day is today, Thursday, May 2nd. The Holocaust was the state-sponsored, systematic persecution and annihilation of European Jewry by Nazi Germany and its collaborators during the years 1933 through 1945, resulting in the extermination of 6 million Jews and their potential descendants. Remembrance obligates us not only to memorialize those who were killed, but also to reflect on what could have been done to save them. Those that survived tell us and told people before their horrific deaths that their last words were, "Remember us and tell our story." And I'm fortunate enough in the Metro Detroit area, there's a Holocaust Survivors Network, and I'm able to twice a month get together with a Holocaust survivor. And we usually have breakfast or coffee or lunch, and we get together and we get to talk about the stories and his history. And he grew up in Germany, and his family went to Shanghai for 7 years before they were eventually brought here to the United States through San Francisco and settled here in Detroit. And the stories he tells, they have a lasting impact on me, and I know they would on all of you. The hope, obviously the sorrow, and some of the most horrific things that you can ever imagine that went on there. One of the stories, and this is a horrific story to tell, but I think it needs to be told. So my friend was there with a little sister, and his parents, obviously they were Jewish, and the Nazi soldiers would call them out. His mom, at one point, was walking in the streets, and she was visibly pregnant. And there were SS soldiers that knew she was Jewish and kicked her until she lost the baby. These were the kind of things that happened there. The 6 million Jews that were there. That's why we do what we do, to honor their memory. Now, we are challenged today to think about what might motivate us to respond to warning signs of genocide today. Recent attacks on synagogues in Pittsburgh over 6 months ago, now in Poway, California, have made combating hate and anti-Semitism in our society even more urgent. The Holocaust demonstrates one of the greatest lessons about individual responsibility, that each of us has the choice to act or not to act, and that there are consequences to our decisions. History teaches us that genocide can be prevented if enough people care enough to act. The Holocaust reminds us of the fragility of democracy and the need for citizens to be both well-informed and vigilant about the preservation of democratic ideals. Our choices in response to hatred truly do matter, and together we can help fulfill the promise of never again. As Elie Wiesel, a Holocaust survivor himself, once said, "There may be times when we are powerless to prevent injustice, but there must never be a time when we fail to protest." By passing this resolution today, we will continue to honor the millions of the lives that were lost, and we will never forget them and make sure that this never happens again. I urge my colleagues to support House Resolution 72. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative. The question before the House is on the adoption of House Resolution 72. All those in favor of the resolution will say aye. Aye. Those opposed will say nay. The resolution is adopted.